up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we always start this show by being transparent. And yesterday, it was a 1-1 day for me. Slightly bigger play on the Niners. That one did not make it, and keep chugging right along in basketball. I feel like a lot of the leans, or I was leaning Pelicans later in the day. I would have cashed. I said I did take Cade rebounds and assists, which was my winner, but the Raptors and Heat under. I should have been on that play as well. That also got there. So winning one day. NBA heating up. Veno, it's been a what 2 days? How's everything been for you?
Couple of days. Yesterday was very slight ski. One play, very small play. It was on Matt Stafford to get over his passing yards. Um, Even with the weather conditions, I thought he would get there. It didn't happen, so we took a very small step back. But as I mentioned a couple of days ago, it's been a great December. I think I'm ranked either 2 or 3 over at Wagertalk this month, up 32 units so far. So a big weekend coming, right? We got the NBA back. Finally, seems like these teams have been off forever because of that tournament going on, and a lot of college football upcoming. Boy, and a big NFL slate. So we're looking, and I know I shouldn't skip college basketball, pal, because you've been on fire in college basketball. So let's not forget that's going on this weekend as well.
Yeah, some big stuff coming up. I did play a game today. I got a couple I'm looking at for Saturday, so looking forward to it. But tonight we'll start off with Washington and Cleveland. And before we start, actually, Rob, these games you said they've been off for a little while. I don't know why, but these games just feel a little bit. I don't know. I feel funny about them. I'll just say that to start. Do you feel that way?
I haven't played one yet, so maybe that's the thing. I mean, for me, it's 20 to 2 in the afternoon, and I still haven't played one. So I'm looking for things that I like, Ski, and because the injury report and other stuff, we'll go through it all game by game. But I'm with you. I haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, I'm taking my time. I'm trying to avoid those bombs, man. Wizards and Cavs opened up. Cavs minus 17 hasn't moved. The total though went up about point and a half to 232. Okoro, let's see, Okoro and Mobley both probable. I'm sorry, Okoro probable, Mobley questionable. No Max Struess, no Amani Bates, no Craig Porter. For Washington, Kuzma, Kispert, George, Brogdon, Sadiq Bey look like they're all out. This is one of those games, Rob. I'm not gonna lie. I glanced at it and I kind of just skipped right over. If I have to think about it more, um, I mean Cleveland. They see to me it seemed like Cleveland cares about winning and winning by margin. I really don't want to bet against them. The Wizards have seemed like the team that's the opposite. They don't even really care at all. So it's hard for me to back Washington as many points as it is. What do you think about it?
Yeah, they're a funny team, Ski, because there have been a couple of times where they've been in this price range. I think specifically against Boston, one that I can remember. Then there was another one where they're catching like 15 and a half, 16 points, and they do get there. But then there's times where they get blown out by 30. So they're just so hard to read in these situations. The only thing I can go on is their season history this year, which they just played not too long ago. And the Cavs won by 31, 118 to 87. The 87 part is the part that stopped me from going right to the total in this game. Because Cleveland, 118 the first time. You figure if they care, 120 is certainly within reach. Washington doesn't stop anybody, but Washington should be able to get more than 87. That kind of surprised me. So I don't know if it's a Cavalier defense thing, a matchup thing, or whatever, or that was a pretty bad shooting night for Washington, which doesn't normally happen. They both play at pace. We're going to get opportunities. I think the Wizards are fourth in pace in the NBA. So I did look at over, just haven't gotten there yet because the season game that they played so far was pretty much way under. You're talking about only 205, and here we have to get up and over 232.
I can understand looking at an over. Um, Wizards, the second worst offensive rated team last 5 games, and the third worst defensive rated team. They're not doing a whole lot right. Carry on thinks we just bet on pool today, and Pool points, Donovan Mitchell assists, and Valanciunas over his points. Could be ways to go there. Carry on does do good work in the chat. I think this is one we just got to keep moving along. Mark says, "Call me crazy. I played the 17. I need 20 plus. I can't even like. Usually, I would try to argue, but I can't even talk you off this game." Pacers and Sixers opened up Sixers minus 5.5. They're 6.5 point favorite currently in the total. Total going up about 4 points from 224.5 to 228. Neesmith and Shepard still out. So Philly, it looks like Mona and Martin are out. So we have, I mean, they got the full complement of players once again for the Sixers team. Pacers, another team that has been like they've taken a step back this year. They've been pretty inconsistent. We always talk about, or you brought it up, but Nembhard, his importance to this team, etc. He will be out there tonight, but also, and I'm trying to look it up here, but I feel like the Pacers have not been a very good road team. So as bad as the Sixers have been, I know I probably still lean towards the Sixers in this game. How do you view it?
Yeah, it's funny because my first reaction is Philadelphia healthy now. Excuse me. Looking to make up ground as quickly as they can while they have their three guys on the floor. And Nick Nurse even saying that here's his quote: "I think there's some quick growth that we can make there, just because they've now played together. Finally, they played together, and now we can start tweaking a little bit." Nick Nurse kind of sees a little bit of a win. I don't want to call it a streak, but winning games the way they should on a more consistent basis here. I kind of agree with that. And Rick Carlisle, on the other hand, you wonder when his team will wake up. He was asked a question about the Charlotte game they most recently played, and he said they tried harder than we did. There you have it. We got to try harder. That's basically what he said. We got to, when the team isn't trying, it's almost like Indiana feels that because they were there last year, you just roll it out and get there again this year. And I know injuries have been a problem, but I do kind of like, and I don't know that I like it as much now that the total's been pushed from 224 to 228.5. I was all in on 224. I didn't get there quick enough. Now I got to make a decision. I think Philly's going to score on Indiana, and no question, Indiana's going to play with pace, but Philadelphia doesn't play with extreme pace. That makes it harder. The fact that Shepard and Neesmith aren't there as shooters, I've said before, I think that's a reason why they're not scoring the way they have, but they do have their most key guards are involved here. Halliburton's here. Nembhard is here. Matherin is here. TJ McConnell is here. So they've got the ability to score. And I also wonder, Skee, real quick here, I don't know, we'll talk to our prop guys in the chat room, but with Embiid and Drummond, I'm not sure which is going to go out and guard Miles Turner. I almost feel like Miles Turner in some capacity would be a good prop play here, whether it be his three-pointers over, maybe his points over. He's a difficult guard for those guys who are slow-footed. So there's certain ways you can look at it. I just haven't played it yet.
Yeah, that's a good call out for Miles Turner. I'll write him down on my short list. Think it is a solid matchup for him offensively. We'll keep going down the list here, Veno. Lakers and Timberwolves opened up Wolves -7. They're 8.5 point favorites now, and the total dropped from 217 down to 213.5. For the Wolves, looks like everybody except for Joe Ingles will be available. For the Lakers, no Wood, no Vanderbilt, no LeBron, no Jackson Hayes. Reeves and Anthony Davis both look like they're probable for tonight. So, a couple things in this one here, Rob. Number one, which one should be number one? Okay, number one, I can't help but think without LeBron on the court, Lakers are going to play extremely hard. This is my personal opinion, okay? The LeBron, he does too much walking around. He's not playing defense and blaming everybody else for whatever else goes on. Like, guys don't want to play 4-on-5. They don't want to. I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. If it was me on the team, I would want to play tonight. That's just how I feel. And it is a little bit of a revenge spot. Wolves kind of embarrassed the Lakers last time. Anthony Davis, he didn't even look interested. Usually when he sees Gobert out there, he wants to go at him and kill him. He didn't even look interested. I think we'll get an interested, focused Lakers team tonight. I lean towards the +9, lean towards 80 points over. And last but not least here, Rob, we know how good Minnesota's defense has picked up, and that's why they've been winning games. Lakers haven't really had the ability to play any defense, but this total dropped from 217 to 213. I'm curious how you feel about side and total.
Yeah, well, I didn't hear one word about is it the disgracers or the disgracefuls, or what do we call it? So at least you're on better terms with your team now. That was the first way I looked, Skee. First of all, I looked at Minnesota just because of the defense that they're playing and the margin of victory since they decided, or since Anthony Edwards, we've talked about it more than once, called the team out, wants them to play defense every single play for 48 minutes. They've done so, and they've won by big margin. But this game is, it was 9. It's 8.5 now. It's a large number. So then I look toward total. And if what you're saying does happen here and the Lakers come interested in this game with Reeves back into the lineup, because he's a pretty decent defender, I think that you probably could stay under the number here. It has come down to 213.5. I'm looking at a stray 214 right now. But to me, the way the T-Wolves have played defense it can't be overlooked as far as how many points the Lakers are going to put up on the board. Chris Finch attributing a lot of their recent success to the fact that Anthony Edwards is shooting more threes. For those who play props, maybe Ant threes is a look. I'm not sure. But I think if it were me, I'd probably be looking at under in this game. And I don't think your opinion on LeBron is unique over the last half dozen years. He has been a little bit. I mean, he scores his points. Let's not get it wrong. Scores his points. But as far as defense goes, if he's not blocking somebody from behind, running them down, he's really not doing much on the defensive end. So we'll see. Like I say, my lean is toward this game under the total at 213.5. And if you can find the 214, that's even better.
So a couple things I have to say, and I'm gonna start with the chat here. Just in sports asking me, is Skee one of those Laker fans that always hated Brown before he pulled up? I never really liked LeBron. I guess you can say I don't know if I hated him, but I had a strong dislike for LeBron before he came to the Lakers. But when he came to the Lakers, I gave him a clean slate. But what I've seen since they won that championship, I can't ignore. I'll say that. So Casey says under in the Lakers, boy, and that's how I feel, Rob. Like,
yeah,
as much as you can trust Minnesota, Lakers have shown zero ability to play defense. If they were to play defense on a night, it would be with LeBron off the court. So that's just how I feel. Anything else? Casey said, I've seen enough. She's not doing
it. We can't argue. There's no way we could argue. Just the way it is right now.
All right, we have another game here. Nets and Grizzlies. This one opened up Grizzlies minus 10.5. They look like 10-point favorites right now, and the total hasn't really moved like a half a point. It looks like 228. As far as injuries, Edie is game time. Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams. He's doubtful. I'm sorry. Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams both out. There will be no Bogdanovich, no Cam Thomas, no Zaire Williams for this Brooklyn team. And the first thing that comes to my mind for this game, Rob, I feel like Brooklyn hasn't been really that good. I mean, I guess I can go look at it. I feel like Brooklyn hasn't been as good or since Cam Thomas went down. That's a guy that they absolutely need to put the ball in the basket. So while I look this up, I really want to try to get there with Grizzlies. But do you have a feel for Brooklyn and Memphis?
Yeah, if the first thing where Memphis is concerned is they've been beaten by the Nets twice in a row here. Held to an average of 105 points. And granted, there were some injuries on the Memphis side in both of those. But I like what their head coach, Taylor Jenkins, was asked about their, frenetic pace. And if they were going to continue that way. And he said, we've been committed to using our depth all season. And so it seems to me Memphis is the number one depending upon what you look at. If you look at possessions per game, or if you look at pace, you'll find either Memphis or Chicago at the top. They're 1 and 2. They're going to run. I just don't know if Brooklyn can keep up without the scoring. But then I saw 10, and I got a little bit scared on the 10. Went back and looked at Memphis's first quarter, first half production, which has been great offensively. I think they're the highest scoring first quarter team, maybe the highest scoring first half team. They're in the top 3 in both. But then knowing that Brooklyn had been a pretty good first half team, some of that disintegrates. Some of your like for that disintegrates. I then went to Memphis team total. And I think that's the way. The one thing I trust is that Memphis is going to score here. It's 119. The probability of them scoring over 119 at home, I think, is pretty good. The thing you battle here is that Brooklyn's just not a pace team. So I always live by the theory, if you're at home, you'll control the pace for more than half of the 48 minutes. You probably don't control it all 48, but you get the better end of the pace. I think Memphis will get that. If they score in some spurts here, could be a pretty solid play looking at over 119 for the Memphis team total.
All right, so here's what I was thinking. I'm not against that at all, but I pulled it up. I know I did see something, but the Grizzlies lost to the Nets, right? Twice this season.
Twice, yeah.
104, 106, 106, 119. I'm not sure exactly who played in both of those games, but it is a chance for them to get some double end season revenge. And to see them here as a double-digit favorite, the books must think so too. I think they can win by double digits. I didn't bet it yet, but that's just how I feel about it. Couple comments from the chat. Rose says, Skee, I need your barber. I'm in Vegas. People talking about my barber. You guys can look up, I think it's Cut the Crop, the THEE Crop. I think that's his social media handles. So you can look it up and, go do what you got to do. Next game, Hornets and Bulls opened up. Bulls -5. They're now 6.5 point favorites in a total. It came down a half a point to 231.5. Injuries for the Hornets, still no LaMelo, no Trey Mann, but they could get Miles Bridges in the lineup there. Salawan, also game time decision. For the Bulls, Lonzo, Levine, both probable. Giddey, Vucevic, and Williams look like they're all game time decision. I don't like seeing all these question marks for the Bulls side. And I don't think of the Bulls as a team where I really want to be expecting them to win by any kind of a margin. The Hornets are coming off of a game where they played well, a game that they won as an underdog, shorthanded. I can't lay 6, especially with the question marks for the Bulls. Can you, Rob?
Well, not with those, and especially since Vucevic has a huge advantage in this game, Skee. As far as his career, I picked up this morning. He's a career best 64.2% from 2-point range this year, best he's ever shot. Charlotte's defense gives up 55.8% from inside the arc or 2-point range. So the interior, and I know on occasion that you've played Vucevic from distance, but if he's available and he's healthy, he could dominate inside here. So there's some sort of a Vucevic prop angle there that you can play. Again, I don't play a lot of them, so I don't have a good recommendation, but I know there's something there that could be played with Vuce. It's funny. We do enough shows together to where this morning I wanted to play Bulls. And what's the first thing that comes to my mind? I think of when you say, I'm not trusting any team to lay points if they can't get stops. And so I didn't play it. And as much, I'll tell you the angle I looked at that brought me there. Charlotte is the worst field goal percentage shooting team in the league. Chicago plays with extreme pace. Chicago shoots it pretty well. So my thought was, you know what? There's going to be spots in this game where they go on runs and they can just outscore them enough to cover 6. But the problem with that is Charlotte's just as apt to go on a run against a lousy defense. Because you shoot bad overall, there's times where you play a miserable defense that you look good. So it's a hard game for me. I think potentially you could get to over in this one if all the Bulls that are question marks now, or the couple of Bulls that are question marks, end up playing. But I think you started this show by saying these games just look a little bit funny or tricky. And this was another one. I thought I had something and then I backed off.
I'll say this. The over is a little bit appealing. I know that the Hornets are shorthanded, but it could get Bridges in there, and that will absolutely help out the offense. The Bulls, I mean, if Charlotte's going to score on anybody, it could be the Bulls in an up-tempo game. Fast and no defense. That's what the Bulls are. 6 of their last 8 games have cleared this number. A lot of them hitting in the 250 range. I really want to try to bet the over, but something is holding me up. So I'll think about it a little bit longer and just write on my short list here. Put Bulls over, and we'll see. Vooch, I do like the Vooch looks, but he's questionable. We'll see if he plays. What you said, Rob, I mean, I've been betting Vooch threes, and he's had a damn good year shooting it from 3. I want to say upper 40%. But you said he's having a career year from 2. So he's just having a career year, period. That makes me think that his points could be the look as well as threes. 17.5 points, Carry On says. I think that could be a good look.
That's a low
Daddy
number.
says, yeah, it is.
Did that say 17 and a half? That's a low number.
17.5. Very, very low. B Daddy asks, what's holding me back from taking the over? Charlotte is not. I mean, if they had LaMelo starting at point guard, I would run to the window and go bet the over.
Right.
Micic, I like him. Vasilija Micic, he's a good player. I don't think he plays with the best pace and or with the fastest pace. And I mean, you've seen a lot of these Hornets games been going under, so it's just a little bit of hesitation with that. And I saw one more question. Derek says, I was going to bet Vucevic over 1.5 threes. Instead, I took Vasilija Micic over 1.5 threes. Should I keep the bet? He's going to get minutes. He can shoot threes. Bulls defense is poor. I mean, there's a chance he can win. It's not one where I'm saying, oh, no, get out of that bet right now. But I think he'll have opportunities. Do you agree, Rob?
Without question. I'm just trying right now to see if I can look up the Bulls' 3-point shooting defense. While I do that real quick, because that would obviously, the Bulls are a lousy defensive team to begin with, but we're trying to isolate threes here. And the Bulls rank, well, they're actually that's the one thing they're good at. They're 9th best in the league at defending threes, probably because everybody else is just scoring at the rim.
Yeah.
But you can't argue. You're going to get shots and possessions against the Bulls. It's the fastest team in the league, so you can't argue anybody off of that particular play.
And he's hit 2 threes in 4 of his last 5 games, so you might be all right there, Derek. Let's keep going. We got 3 more games. See if we can get through them. We'll see. Clippers and Nuggets opened up. Nuggets minus 6.5. Looks like 6 total. Went up 1 point to 227. For the injuries, I did see Jamal Murray, I believe, wrote out. Let me refresh. No, he still says game time. Maybe he's doubtful, or maybe I misread. It says Jamal Murray questionable. Aaron Gordon and Braun probable. For the Clippers, same usual suspects out for them. This is one where I didn't have the strongest opinion. I don't really care if Murray's in or out. Honestly, he hasn't been playing really good since he got his injury. Do you have any thoughts on this game? It's probably one I'm not going to play.
Yeah, it's funny because I came here hoping to hear something that would help me with this game. I really don't. I thought the points are a little much. It's interesting to note now, Skee, that Denver's done like a complete turnaround where pace is concerned. They're inside the top 6 in tempo when we usually see them down the bottom 3. So it's a different style of team. The Clippers are going to be very, very methodical. I kind of like the way the Clippers have played as of late. And maybe if I had to, just sit back and watch it for a couple of bucks, I might try +6, but I really don't have a good feel for that game.
All right, we'll keep going down the list then. That is one I'm not really looking at all. Suns and Jazz. Man, I think these last 3 games are all very poor. Honestly, now I'm looking at them. Opened up Phoenix -5. They're now -7, and the total went up from 229 to 233. I think that's gonna. I mean, that probably happened. Both moves happened because Kevin Durant's gonna play today, right? For Utah, Laurie Markkinen looks like he's questionable or he's probable. I'm sorry, and so is Jordan Clarkson. It's a lot of buckets that you can add. So I can understand getting those two guys in the lineup for Utah, getting Kevin Durant back for Phoenix. It makes sense why this total shoots up. Do you agree with it, or is there a different way you're looking at this game, Vino?
I don't know. I do agree with it because Utah at home, my first look is always toward the over in their games at home. Um, for the last couple of years, like you say, Phoenix without Durant is just a different team when he's not on the
Mm-hmm.
floor, and with him back, and we always talk about there's a potential for rust, and I know that there is, but with KD, I don't really ever feel that way with him. Just feel like he's going to pick up right where he left off. So the fact that you have Clarkson in though and Markkinen adds to the other side, and you need both sides to contribute here. I don't like the Phoenix defense overall as well. So I would think that even at this price, 233, you're probably still good to play an over. I'm looking at some 232 and a halves out there too.
Um, there was one thing here. I'm looking at this. This is something that's interesting to me. The Jazz first half has stayed under their last 5 games, but the full game is 3-2 to the over. So Jazz second half, for whatever reason, that's where you're seeing majority of the scoring. Um, so maybe if you see maybe KD comes out, miss a couple shots. Now Rob say he doesn't believe in him being rusty. I probably would agree, but if you see some of it, maybe you see Clarkson come out and be a little rusty. Second half could be a way to get to the window and go bet the over. Um, Last game on the slate. We making okay time. We doing it. These last 3 games were so shitty that we can run through them. Spurs and Blazers. Open Spurs -3.5. It looks like -3. Total went up from 223 to 225. And Castle's out, Collins is out, Keldon Johnson's out, Trey Jones out for the Spurs. For the Blazers, looks like all 3 big men are questionable. Ayton, Klingon, and Robert Williams. Matisse Tybul's out. Reed is out. This might be the worst one. But I'll say this: if you're missing all those, well, they're questionable. They're not missing yet. But if you're missing all 3 or 2 out of 3 of those big men, it's not going to be a whole lot of rim protection for Portland down there, and they'll probably play a little bit faster. So I guess I agree with the market pushing this one up, but I want absolutely nothing to do with a side for this game. Just a lean over for me. Anything from you, Vino?
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to play Portland over anymore. It seems like every time I've reached to play a Portland over, it's the night where their offense just goes stone cold. Last couple of games, 99 against Utah. Utah's not a good defensive team. 98 against the Lakers. We talked about the Lakers not being a good defensive team. Prior to that, you see some 114s, 115s in there. They're just so sporadic. You don't know what you're getting out of Portland. Lines up toward the San Antonio side because of Wembanyama, obviously, but I don't like the fact that Castle might not play either. To your point about the lack of rim protection on the Portland side, that's been an issue for a while, right? They've been missing 2 out of 3 big men for a while. And you look at the point totals that they've allowed, and it shows up 123, 121, 137, 127, 141 in 6 of their last 8 games. A San Antonio team total, I wouldn't be opposed to here. But full game total, not knowing what you're going to get out of the Portland side on any given night, just can't get there. As San Antonio, as I look right now, the best you're going to find is a 113.5. So they would need to get to 114 against Portland tonight.
I mean, Spurs have been giving it up too, 116 to the Pelicans, 140 to the Kings, 139 to the Bulls. They've been giving it up. Portland, I know they haven't been the best offensively, but maybe they can just contribute a little bit. I mean,
if you're gonna bet it, tell me, and I won't, because if I bet it, Portland will score 95. I'm telling you, they do me wrong all the time. So yeah, if you're there, I will stay far away from a full game total. in that one.
Well, we'll see.
Help you out.
Spurs have went over 4 of their last 5 games. We'll see. I haven't gotten there yet, but I'll continue to think about it. And that's the entire NBA card. So let's move it over. Best bets. And before you give your best bet, Rob, I always like to ask you if there's anything you'd like to promote. I know you've been extremely hot, so maybe you want to let the people know.
Yeah, I think what I will promote, I'll just isolate, is the college football postseason here, guys. Wager Talk has a tremendous special going on right now that'll run you all the way through the national championship game. If you're interested in selection packages, go ahead and head over there. College football, the last 2 weeks for myself, ranks number 1 at Wager Talk over there. So got a play going tomorrow in the FCS. Again, I reach deep into this stuff, so I play these FCS playoffs as well. You can get it over there. Skee's got the link in the description. You can find all my work over there at wagertalk.com. And by the way, if you're not a member yet, you can just go over there and drop your email address, get free access to all the video and written work that we do as a group over there each and every day. Best bet, Skee. I'm going to live by your theory and say if I didn't bet it, I'm not giving you anything because
it's all right.
I didn't bet a single thing here. We talked for a while, and I don't know that I'm any closer to anything after we talk. So usually we help each other out, but
yeah, it's just one of those days.
Yeah, it just looks like it to me. And there's no back-to-back situations, which made it even harder. Lots of times we're looking for scheduling to help us out, but everybody's blank tomorrow, other than the teams that are in the cup games. So I don't know. I'm going to leave it empty for today. First time I've ever done so, but I just can't recommend anything.
It's all good. All good. You give out plenty of good information and help people with these bets every single day. So for myself, my promo will be same thing I did last time. What I've been doing. This is still active, I believe. For it said, yeah, expires the 17th. It says so. You buy NBA if you would like to follow every single NBA bet that I make, and you get college basketball added on for just $1 more. And I've been hot in both. These updated numbers, I'm 25-1 in both college basketball and NBA as far as the run is concerned. Simply college basketball, I've won 9 of my last 10. And NBA, I am on a 33-15 run. So if you're interested, all of my work is always at wagertalk.com. And for myself, for my best bet, Rob, I gotta live by it too. I mean, I don't believe in giving you guys bets that I haven't made, and I haven't made one in the association. I've made one in college, but and I've been sharing a lot of my big plays with you guys, but today I can't give the college one, and we talked about NBA anyway. So what I will do, I'll share my short list, and that is going to be Miles Turner, whether it's his threes, probably his 3-point prop on my short list after Veno pointed that out. Vucevic, points or threes, both could be a look, just waiting to see if he's going to play, etc. The Bulls game over, trying to get there with that if I can just trust Hornets to score a little bit. Lakers plus 8.5 is there, simply for the fact that I think everybody will show up without LeBron, and how they got embarrassed last time. I think that they can respond. Last but not least, Grizzlies minus 10 will be my last lean there, and just getting some double revenge, in season revenge, and being healthy. So that's what I'm looking at. I will do another show at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with Dutch, Babano, and Wham. And I'll shore up some of these looks and have a best bet on that show. So if you're looking for more NBA info, you can come check that out. I'm live right after this show with my guy 5-Star. So if you want to hear about football, whether it's college or NFL, come slide over there. And last but not least, Vino, I always want to let you know that I appreciate you taking the time to come cap these games with me, and definitely helps me out. I'm sure it helps the chat out. You guys make sure you give Rob a follow at Rob Vino Sports on Twitter. And for you people in the chat, appreciate you guys as well. A lot of great cappers, and we're all sharing. We're all trying to help each other. So appreciate y'all. If you guys are not coming to the other shows, best of luck on all your action, and I'll catch y'all later.